Alrighty, guys. I didn't think originally when the Batman Part 1 finished up and when the Penguin finished up that Batman Part 2 would be such, I don't want to say a controversy, but such a topic of discussion. And yet here we are, because of different issues going on with Matt Reeves, and there's been speculation about his personal health and various reasons as to why the Batman Part 2 has been pushed and pushed and pushed, and now Batman Part 2 has a release date of October 2027, which is kind of crazy. I mean, you'd think that if the script is done, we'll talk about the script in just a second, that you could conceivably get going on the project in the near future, and perhaps maybe not October 2026, but still have the project up and running by late 2026 or early 2027. I digress. I know movie productions have a whole lot of different moving parts that need to be attended to, so it's not that easy. But October 2027 feels a long way away still for the Batman Part 2, because James Gunn, when doing press for Superman, which we'll talk about obviously later on in the podcast, was asked about Matt Reeves's The Batman Part 2 script, which has been a topic of discussion a few months ago, and basically ever since he's been saying, yeah, we're waiting for the script, it hasn't come yet, we're still waiting, Matt Reeves has yet to deliver it, and up until very recently, Matt Reeves has been pretty silent about this until he posted a picture of the script itself, saying, not obviously of the actual words, but just the fact that the script is there, it's present, it's done, and he said, we've submitted it to DC. And now, when doing press for Superman, James Gunn was asked about the Batman Part 2, to which he responds, he's read the script, and he says, quote, it's great. Okay, so you might be wondering, why are we doing an entire segment about two words, which, you know, if you're the CEO, the co-CEO of DC, obviously, you want to pump up your projects. Obviously, you want people to be excited about the things that you're working on. And so, of course, even though the Batman Part 2 is not part of the DCU, the universe set up by Creature Commandos and Superman, it's still James Gunn's in James Gunn's best interest to pump up the project and say, yeah, it's great, it's going great. Except, the reason that we're doing this segment is because I do believe this is a sign of real positive momentum, because James Gunn, contrary to that kind of sentiment of where you might be saying, well, James Gunn should just say anything positive about the Batman 2, regardless. James Gunn, in taking over DC Studios, has actually been quite honest with us. Not revealing things necessarily, but has been pretty honest when it's come to his actual thoughts about these different projects. Case in point, whenever he's talking about the Batman Part 2, he's always been honest in saying, nope, we're still waiting for a script, and I'm sure it'll be great, but we're still waiting for it, and we haven't read it, and we don't know what's going on. Whenever he's been asked about it, that's what he's been saying. And so, and with other DC projects as well, that have been in limbo, he's also been very honest about the fact that some of these scripts are just not where he wants them to be. And I think that this actually points to James Gunn, now that he's saying, I've read the Batman Part 2 script, it's great, points to the fact that we are now full go on this. Whether or not Matt Reeves himself directs the movie is a different question for another day, but the script is done, and the script is good, and that means we are ready to go. Now, I don't believe James Gunn is just blustering about this. I do think that now, this is the point in time when we are really going to see the DC's Batman Part 2 have full momentum and full forward thrust into actual production. Like I said, with projects like, I think he said about Waller or The Authority, James Gunn has said, and even Batman Brave and the Bold, he's been very honest in saying, I'm just not happy with where these scripts are. And I have no reason to believe that when he says the Batman Part 2 script is great, I have no reason to believe he's lying about that. I think he's telling the truth, and I think that he really is excited about where this project is. So I take his comments about the Batman Part 2 script as a very, very good sign. And I do think we will be getting a lot of news about this in the coming weeks as we head into the future of what DC is having to offer for us. So guys, what do you think about the news that the Batman Part 2 script has been approved by James Gunn? Not only approved, but has been given a ringing endorsement from the co-CEO of DC Studios. Let me know in the comments down below.